Well, we are officially back from the beautiful land of Alaska. Hi, my name is Jana Kay, and welcome to Flourish, Faith, and Fiber. And this is Flourish Creatively podcast number 24. And I am so excited to be back with you and share all of the different things I've been working on and just connect back with you all again. While I have been gone, I have gotten so many new subscribers, and I am so excited and thankful for you all. I am thankful for every single one of my subscribers. I appreciate those of you who have been sticking with me for over a year and a half now, and for those of you that have found my channel and hopefully find it a blessing to you and appreciate you subscribing. So you can find me on Facebook and Instagram as Flourish, Faith, and Fiber, and on Ravelry at Jana K65. And I try to keep up on all my projects and put in all the notes of things that I have done, if I've made any changes to those projects. I've been out of Wi-Fi as we were on a cruise in Alaska, and so need to really update some of the things that I'm working on, but I do overall try to keep my Ravelry project page updated for you all. So if you're interested in anything that I have done or am working on, you should be able to find it there. So yeah, I thought about, because this year in January, I turned 59, so it's my last year in my 50s, and I wanted to do some really special things. One of the things I thought about doing was, when I hit 590 subscribers, to do a big giveaway. 59, 590, surpassing the 500 mark, but I have gone way past that, but still plan on doing a giveaway. I am settled at my in-laws' house for the next couple of weeks, so we'll do some planning and get back to you with definitely a giveaway, because now I'm over 700. Maybe 750. Anyway, it's so exciting. But do plan on doing a giveaway themed around celebrating my last year in the decade of the 50s, and so somewhere around 59, using that number as part of the celebration. So I will also put some pictures of our trip to Alaska, which was very exciting. It was so beautiful. I will attach those at the end of the video, so you can see just all the wonderful things that we got to enjoy as we decided to take a little bit of downtime between retiring from one organization that we were working for and living overseas in South Africa, to a new job for my husband. Yes, I am still a retiree, but a new job for my husband that he will start towards the end of June. And it was a wonderful vacation, a wonderful time to relax, get away. It was cold, but to enjoy beautiful scenery and do a few excursions, and really did have a good time. If you ever get a chance to visit Alaska, I definitely recommend it. All right, so what have I been working on during these last couple of weeks that I have been away? Well, let's get to it. I don't have any finished objects, but I've got a few works in progress. All right, my first work in progress that I did take with me on my trip to Alaska is my second sock. So you have seen this. If you've seen my other videos, you have seen this sock. It is the Crazy Sock Ladies Morning Coffee Sock pattern. There we go. Let me get that out so you can see the detail of the pattern. It is a really fun pattern. Definitely a good pattern if you are learning to knit, if you're new to knitting, but you want to progress from just doing vanilla socks. It's not a difficult pattern. It is a 6-round repeat, but there's a round of knit in between the other rounds, and the other rounds just revolve knit and purl stitches. So if you, like me, have learned how to knit and just want to have tried socks, done vanilla socks, and want to try something different to improve your knitting, this is a great pattern, the Crazy Sock Ladies Morning Coffee Sock. And so there it is. I have done, as you can tell, I have done the cuff. I do a 2x2 ribbing. It's not what was called for in this particular pattern, but that's the one that I enjoy doing, so I've done it. Even with this pattern, I did 66 rows or rounds, so that is 11 repeats of the pattern. Then started the heel flap, heel turn. I picked up the gusset stitches. I do have a video which I will link on how I pick up my gusset stitches so that there is no hole right in that area right there on either side. So yeah, I'll link that there and in the description box below. And I am starting on the rounds for my foot. And this is Yarnable, my Yarnable subscription yarn. It is by Hypnotic Yarns. It's the plush sock, which is 85% superwash merino and 15% nylon. And this colorway, I don't remember what month it is, from 2023, and it is called Raspberry Cream. So as soon as I finish the foot and the toe decreases, I will have a pair of socks. I did wear a pair of my hand knitted socks. It was just the vanilla sock pattern while I was in Alaska, and they did keep my feet quite warm. So I look forward to having my second pair for me. So I've made my husband 2 pairs. This will be my second pair. I made my daughter a pair, and yeah, I look forward to making more socks. I really enjoy it. And Crazy Sock Lady is hosting Summer Sock Camp, and it has started at the very end of May. So if you love knitting socks and haven't joined in, then I will put a link to obviously everything that I talk about, all the patterns and the mentions of the creators, but I will put hers in, as well as the video, if I can find it, the video where she does talk about Summer Sock Camp. She does in several videos leading up to it, but I will definitely put a link to her channel down below, and to the pattern of the morning coffee pattern as well. So I use 9-inch circulars. I use 2.5 millimeter needles, and I use DPNs for the heel flap, heel turn, and I use magic loop for the toe decreases. So do change to those during the making of the socks, and that's just what I enjoy doing, what I've learned to do. I do want to continue to improve and learn more about knitting socks, so may try different heels or maybe different needles as I progress in my knitting journey. So that is the first project I am working on. I did start a new project. I did not take it to Alaska, but I started a new cardigan. So this pattern is by Grace at For the Frills, and she puts out a lot of free patterns. I love her patterns. I've made a couple for my daughter. I just think she is a super great designer, and I really appreciate that she puts out free patterns on her website. And this pattern was actually on the Make and Do Cruise website, but I'll put links down in the description box. So this is called the Willow cardigan, and I have finished the back panel. So I am making it a long but summer lacy cardigan. So there is the back panel, and as you can see, it is a long cardigan. There you go. And that is the pattern. It is a 4-row repeat, but very easy, very simple to do. And so far, I am loving it. So let me tell you a little bit about this cardigan. As I said, it is called the Willow Cardigan by Grace For the Frills. And she called for a worsted weight or 4-weight yarn and a 6.5 millimeter hook. I have DK yarn that I bought when I was in South Africa. It is actually Kismet yarns, and it is called Feels Like Cashmere, and it does. It is the softest yarn, and this colorway is called Silver Mist. And so, yeah, I am using a lamp from the room that we are staying in at my in-laws, and so the lighting may not be perfect, but it is like a marled gray color and very soft. It is DK weight. I am using a 6. I decided to go down 1 hook size to a 6 millimeter hook with this. I still wanted it to be really drapey, which it is turning out to be drapey, and enough holes, enough of a lace pattern that it will be great to wear in the summertime, because I find I get cold when I go into air conditioning. So it'll be pretty nice to wear places, church or restaurants or things like that, to throw on when the air conditioning gets to be too much for me. So this yarn by Kismet is 100% acrylic. It's a 100-gram ball, 250 meters. They do not have ounces or yards listed on their label. So it is a DK or 3-weight yarn, but actually when I, because trying to determine what size cardigan I wanted to make, I needed to do a gauge swatch since I had gone down yarn size and down a hook size. But I actually came out with, in the width, the appropriate gauge, the appropriate number of stitches wide. It was a little shorter in the length, but I knew that I was just gonna, that you would knit, it's not vertical, it is crocheting horizontally. And so I knew I would just crochet till I got it the length that I wanted. And so it worked out perfect with the gauge. And so I did the size extra small. She does have several sizes, very size inclusive with her patterns. And so I'm enjoying that. I've got 2 front panels to work on and then sew it together and then do the sleeves. And so, yeah, I've enjoyed it and going to continue working on that. So my third project that I'm working on is my Knockout Crop Top by Jennifer at Cinnamon Stitches. It is the one I am doing for my video series on bougie crochet wearables, and I will put a link to my first video in the series and put a link in the description box below. I will put up a picture because right now I am blocking it. I want to make sure that I leave enough space. I kind of want it to be a little bit like this top I have on, where the armhole is a little bit bigger than normal, but because I do want to attach some sleeves to it, but I don't want it to be tight, but I also don't want it to be real loose either. And so I will put up a picture here of it being blocked. And yes, I am at my mother-in-law's house using one of her towels and some safety pins that I found that she had, because all of my sewing things, my blocking boards, they are all on the ship carrying everything over from South Africa. But I will tell you that, as I said, it is a pattern by Jennifer at Cinnamon Stitches, and the yarn that I am using came from an advent calendar that Reggie at J Hook Crochet put out in 2022. But I will be putting out a video showing more progress once that piece that I have blocked is dry, so that I can take it off the towel and do a video with more description about that project. So those are the 3 works in progress. So plans, I have joined the hooking up with books make along, which is with Cassandra at Craftably Ever After and Caroline at Caroline for the Love of Crochet. We started a new book May 15th called The Marsh King's Daughter, and fantastic book. I will talk more about it at the reveal, but don't wait for that. Go ahead and get the book and read it. It is an amazing book. I loved every bit of it. So I finished reading that book, and so my upcoming plans now are to make something, crochet something based on that book. The deadline is July 15th, so I will put out a video or my next podcast in July that I do in July, closer to July 15th. We'll have all the details about the book and about the project. I will reveal the project that I did then. But I'm working on that. We'll continue to work on my Knockout Crop Top for the Bougie Crochet Wearable series, and the cardigan that I started by Grace for the frills. I want to say Grace at Grace for anyway, those 4s mix me up, but Grace for the frills. And we're going to finish that. I keep saying this, I do want to start my knit sweater. And hopefully, since I will be at my in-laws for 2 weeks, just hanging out with them, relaxing, that I can get that cast on. So that is still a plan, finishing my sock and hopefully starting another one, since it is the summer sock camp with Kay at the Crazy Sock Lady. So, and there may be some other projects that I just feel like I need to start while I am here before we actually move over to Tennessee, which will happen towards the end of June. So that is everything fiber related. And again, I really appreciate every one of you who come and watch my video and stay throughout everything. And we're going to move into our Discovery Bible study. All right, our Bible study today comes from Luke chapter 17, verses 1 to 10, and I will put them on the screen as I read. He said to his disciples, this is Jesus, offenses will certainly come, but woe to the one through whom they come. It would be better for him if a millstone were hung around his neck and he were thrown into the sea than for him to cause one of these little ones to stumble. Be on your guard. If your brother sins, rebuke him. And if he repents, forgive him. And if he sins against you 7 times in a day and comes back to you 7 times saying, I repent, you must forgive him. The apostles said to the Lord, increase our faith. If you have faith the size of a mustard seed, the Lord said, you can say to this mulberry tree, be uprooted and planted in the sea, and it will obey you. Which one of you, having a servant tending sheep or plowing, will say to him when he comes in from the field, come at once and sit down and eat? Instead, will he not tell him, prepare something for me to eat? Get ready and serve me while I eat and drink. Later you can eat and drink. Does he thank that servant because he did what he was commanded? In the same way, when you have done all that you were commanded, you should say, we are worthless servants. We've only done our duty. And so I want to talk just real quickly about what I learned about God and people, but I really want to touch on a confusing part of that passage, and that is verses 9 and 10. So first of all, we see in this whole passage that God prepares us. He warns the disciples in this passage. And it is a warning for us as disciples, as followers as well. He gives us duties. And he gives us all we need to do his work. And he is forgiving. If he's asking us to forgive as he does, then he is forgiving. God would never ask us to do something that he does not do. And he corrects us. He rebukes us for his glory and for the good of others. And people, what do I learn about people is that people are responsible for their own actions, especially if it causes people to turn away from Jesus. We are responsible for that. And turning others away from the gospel is horribly offensive to the Lord. We must guard our hearts. We must guard our mouths and what we say, and stay on the path of righteousness so that we don't lead others astray. And it is okay for us to correct and rebuke other believers. It is okay to judge and help correct other believers. We want them to correct us. I want people to say, hey, what you're doing is not right. Why? So that we don't cause others to turn away. So that our fellow believers don't turn others away from Jesus and then feel the rebuke from the Lord. We want to help each other, and we want to help others come to know Jesus. So it's important that we do correct, rebuke, disciple each other, mentor each other. You should be mentoring and discipling someone, and someone should be mentoring and discipling you. And now that I have moved from South Africa, that is something I will definitely be looking for, is someone where I'm going to be living in Tennessee, at the church I will be going to mentor and disciple me. Yes, I am 59. I'm an older woman, but it doesn't matter how old you are. We still need people to walk alongside us and help us lead a life that glorifies God. And so that's how I want to be obedient. I want to be forgiving of others. Even when they offend me, I want to forgive. It is difficult. In fact, the disciples asked Jesus, said, you need to increase our faith. We don't have faith enough to forgive somebody 7 times every day, even if they ask for forgiveness. Increase our faith. Jesus didn't say you can say to the mulberry tree, be uprooted and move, if you have faith as a mustard seed, to mean anything. He meant it towards forgiving others. If you have faith in Jesus, he will help you to forgive others. He will help me forgive others, and give us the faith to steadfastly serve him and to live a life of righteousness. He will help us to do that for his glory, so others can know more about him. So I want to look really quickly at Luke 17, verses 9 to 10, talking about the master. Does he thank the servant because he did what was commanded? In the same way, when you have done all that you were commanded, you should say, we are worthless servants. We've only done our duty. Is Jesus calling the disciples worthless servants? Servants, slaves? Is he calling us that? No, I don't believe he is saying we are worthless. It is a parable. A parable telling us that servants don't expect to sit down with the master because they've done their job. In your job, you are working, you are doing a job for a boss, for someone over you. You are doing the work. Do you expect every time you do what you're supposed to do for the boss to say, hey, you did a great job. You should have more money. You should have a bigger office. You should have more time off because you were doing what you were hired to do? As a teacher, I was hired to teach students math. As a missionary, I was hired. I felt God's calling to go and tell others about Jesus and disciple them and help them know how to study the Bible and worship God. Did I feel like I needed a bigger salary, a bigger house, because I was doing what I was called or hired to do? I will say that my pet peeve is the word deserve. I think the word deserve is thrown around very loosely nowadays. You, from McDonald's, you deserve a break today. Why? Did your boss tell you you were going to get a break? Okay, then maybe you do. Do you deserve a raise? Well, if your boss says you work hard, I'll give you one. Okay, maybe you do. But do you deserve a piece of pie just because you're you? Maybe not. And as believers, someone who does more, maybe works at a church, a pastor of a church, do they deserve more of God's blessing than just an everyday, ordinary follower of Christ? That should be good news. these two verses should be good news, that God does not play favorites. He says, you are to obey me. You are to follow me. You are to forgive. You are to share Jesus with other people. You are to disciple. This is your duty as a follower of Christ. And somebody who maybe is out there more, is seen as more holy, is working in the church instead of teaching school or whatever job that you might have. Are they more deserving? Should they get a bigger blessing from God? God's like, no, they are doing what I've called them to do. So actually these two verses, and I hope I've said it in a way that makes sense, but these two verses should actually be encouraging to people, to those of us that have ordinary, regular, everyday jobs, but who are called by God to follow, to be obedient disciples of Christ. I am a retiree. I am no longer a missionary. Does that mean I will be any less blessed by God? Does that mean that he sees me as less of a servant? No. As long as I am following and being obedient, that is what I want to do because of my gratefulness and love for Jesus, who paid the price for my selfishness and my pride. He died on the cross for me and said, I will pay her penalty. So now I am a child of God. That is for me payment enough, blessing enough, that I just want to do what he wants me to do and be obedient, to be his servant and not expect any special gifts or blessings from him. So that's just my take on those two verses, what I have pondered, what I hope the Holy Spirit has led me to understand. Would love to know your thoughts on that as well. And thank you for joining me. If you have stayed through this part, through the Discovery Bible Study, I thoroughly appreciate it. And look forward to seeing you next week and sharing some more of makes. And hopefully I will have a few finished projects as well. Y'all have a wonderful day. And go out there and serve God with all your heart, knowing you are a beloved child of God. Bye-bye.